Todd here for Gardening with Gutner. Did you know that most homes have houseplants? According to Statista, 66% of folks have one or more houseplants in their home or workspace. Houseplants are good for us physically and mentally. They filter the air we breathe, and growing something reduces stress and improves our mood. Plus, they look so nice. We spoke with a couple of houseplant experts to learn more about how to take better care of our plants and some common problems that can affect them. Maine is filled with so many wide open spaces. Unfortunately, we don't all have access to them, but you still have a green thumb and that craving for gardening. Well, we're at Skillins in Falmouth. Melissa's standing in for George. George wasn't too talkative. He's taking a little cat nap over there.
He's always asleep.
So we're talking houseplants. There's so many different directions we can go in here. What's the first thing we should think about?
Well, the first thing you want to think about is what do you have for light in your house? Where are you putting this plant? Are you at an east window, north window, which would be low light? Are you more southwest, southwest, or southeast? Any of those where you're getting more light?
Yeah.
You need to know which way, what you have for light to come in, because it's going to make your choice. If you have low light, you want something like the pothos, or like this philodendron, or any of these philodendrons, which are also low light. The monsteras are very popular plants, and these are the Selim philodendrons, which are the finger ones.
They got a lot of texture on the leaves. Okay, what else do we have?
Well, we have some really nice bright light succulent plants, which will be in a full sun window. They too do not like a lot of water. You want to let them go really dry, like these cacti are.
Oh yeah, sure.
So they're going to get really dry.
Yeah, this is like sand on a beach just drying out.
But with succulents, you got to think like the desert. They live in the desert as normal. But so in the desert, they're like parched, dry. But then then it rains.
Yeah, it pours all of a sudden.
Yes. So you want to water them like
that.
Like just like I always say, water with intention. Make sure you're watering the plant well. It's coming out the bottom. But you're not going to let it sit in that water. After about half hour, you will dump what's ever left over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, back here, I mean, you see this in almost every doctor's office in America in the waiting room.
Yeah.
What's
that
this?
you do. This is a fiddle leaf fig. Now they're very easy to grow plant. It's a medium light plant. Now medium has a range. It's a low medium or a bright medium. These are kind of like right in the middle.
Okay.
So they can adapt to whatever.
Almost
and a lot
anywhere.
of plants will do that. They will adapt. You give them like, it says, oh, you just need low light. But you can kind of push that a little bit if you've got medium light. And it'll adapt to that and it'll grow really well.
So this one's versatile.
Very versatile,
Okay.
yes. Anything that says medium, it's a very versatile plant.
So let's keep this show and tell going. You've got a place in the greenhouse here. You want to take me, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Let's go. OMG, that is a $500 plant. Melissa, why? How?
It's variegation. Is what's so unusual about that. It's their DNA that dictates it. So no two plants are alike. They're all different. They are all beautiful. They grow in rainforest and various different places around the world. Most of them South America.
Right.
But this compared to this guy, see how plain he is compared to the variegation?
Oh, we still like him though.
Yeah. Yes, we do like the plain one as well.
This one's only 25 and that one's in the hundreds.
Right.
You better not kill the one in the hundreds.
No, I better not.
And you take care of them. Will
I
you
do.
show us how to take care of a plant like that?
Absolutely. And
All
they're
right.
really not any harder than the regular.
Oh, that's good to hear. Let's go do it.
Well, we start with repotting. If you're unsure if your plant needs to be repotted or not, when you water it, does it come all the way through without stopping in between? The answer is yes. Might be time to repot it. Also, if you see roots coming out the bottom of your pot, another good clue that you need to repot your plant.
Okay.
Choosing your pot for this poor little plant. You do not want to put this 3 little inch plant into a 8-inch pot.
That looks unnatural.
It does, and the plant will not like it. If the root to soil ratio is too heavy on the soil side, the plant can't deal with it. So before you start putting your plant in there, you want to take a piece of something like landscape fabric, coffee filter, cheesecloth, anything like that that can allow water through it, and you're going to place it over the hole in the bottom of the pot.
Got it.
You don't want to use rocks. Rocks just eats up soil space that the plant will want to have.
Got it. You pop that in there after the soil's in? And
Yep, you put your soil in, you take it out of the pot, break up the root ball, and then you're going to, and I can't get it out here, so.
It's stuck because of those roots.
Right, so you just break those off.
Nice.
And then you pull it out and see how all your root ball there, see how it's going around. If it was a round one, it would go in a circle. So you want to make sure you break up your roots so they won't keep going in a circle, because you left them when you could be 6 months and you could pull that right out and still going in a circle and not going into the soil and plant failure.
This is awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa, for the tips. If you want to get into houseplants, come see Melissa at Skillins. We'll see you next time on Gardening with Gutner. Danielle? Danielle!
Todd!
There you are. Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
Great to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, welcome.
We're at Hay Runner's Plant Warehouse. What does Hay Runner do?
So we are a design and construction company, and part of that design is houseplants. So we will bring these beautiful tropical plants into your house or your office, and we can also take care of them for you.
Love that. I mean, houseplants aren't the easiest plant to take care of. A lot of them are tropicals, but you can be the green thumb for somebody, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a horticulturist. I've been doing this for over 10 years. And yeah, it can definitely be intimidating, but there's some few easy tips to keep them healthy and happy year round.
Ooh, this one here is really cool.
Yeah, this is one of the most popular houseplants. This is snake plant.
Snake plant.
Yeah, it gets its name from these cool variegations
They're
that
awesome.
it has. Yeah, it's very low maintenance, low light, low water requirements, great for beginners.
How about this one here?
This is ZZ plant.
ZZ.
Similar to snake plant, very low maintenance, and it also has this beautiful glossy green foliage that looks amazing year round.
And your last one here.
This is spider plant.
Oh wait, so we have a spider and a snake.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little intimidated
A
now.
little scary, but they're really not that scary.
Good, okay.
This one looks great in a hanging planter.
Sure.
It will also give you these little babies that you can propagate.
Oh, you get new plants.
Yeah, and get new plants.
Oh, love that.
So, but this one's looking like it needs a little TLC.
Oh.
So let's go give it some love. All right, Todd, welcome to Plants 101.
I'm taking mental notes.
This is our spider plant that we were looking at before.
Yes.
One of the first things you want to look at with your house plants is the root system. You're looking for nice white coloring, really strong roots, not something that's fallen apart in your hands.
Sure.
This looks like it also needs a little bit of a repot. You can tell because the roots are starting to form to the shape of the pot.
Sure.
So I'll do that later.
You'll do that later.
One of the most important things is right lighting. So a lot of people don't know what it means by direct light, indirect light. A really great rule of thumb that I like to use is use the crown of your plant. If the crown of that plant can see the sky, then that's direct light.
I see.
Indirect light would be a plant that is either 4 to 6 feet away from a window, or it's not able to see the sky.
Gotcha.
And low light is a plant that is completely away from a window, maybe even under artificial light.
Can it be like in a dark corner too,
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's a good little lesson.
Next thing you want to look for is any signs of nutrient deficiency. So nutrient deficiency, there's a lot of different types, but a good rule of thumb is when you're starting to see crispy leaf edges, you're starting to see that yellowing, with what we call chlorosis. That's a good indication that you probably have a nutrient deficiency.
How do you fix that?
One of the best things you can do as a plant owner is just have a handy dandy liquid fertilizer. These are really nice because you can just add a few drops into your watering can, and then you should start to see those nutrient deficiencies go away within a few weeks.
And
some of this new growth is already looking
This is
really
all
nice.
brand new and it's bright green.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great to see.
Yep. The last thing, and maybe the most important thing, is watering.
Watering.
Oftentimes I see people overwatering rather than underwatering, oddly enough. And so what you can use is you want to make sure that your plant has good drainage, so the pot has holes in it. When you're watering your house plants, you want to make sure that water is able to
so it's
drip right through.
Going right through.
You want to water that plant until it is no longer dripping.
Okay.
And that means that you have full saturation.
Great.
A great way to tell if your plant needs to be watered is using what I like to call the thumb test.
Right.
So pop your thumb right in the soil, Don't be afraid to get in there.
Get a little dirty.
This is what they mean about a green thumb, I guess.
Or a brown thumb.
Right. So if your thumb comes out and it has dirt on it, that means that it's all good. It doesn't need to be watered. If your thumb is coming out dry, then that means it probably needs to be
That's a
watered.
sweet little tip.
Yeah.
Thanks, teacher.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll bring an apple next time.
Yeah,
you are
it'd be
awesome. Not only is Danielle an expert on plant care, but on plant staging too, like in a home or in an office. And a little later in the season, we're going to do a story on that. We'll cover staging of plants inside. So looking forward to that. That's it for this Gardening with Gutner. Keep your growing going. We'll see you next time. So now you know more about the care of houseplants, but do you know how to arrange those plants around your home? Danielle Perry of Hay Runner has some good tips for staging your houseplants. On today's Gardening with Gutner, we're going outside in. We're talking interior landscaping using houseplants, and Danielle's going to meet us inside.
Hey, Todd.
Hi.
Come on in.
Good, good. Thank you. Oh, wow. I love this.
Yeah, you're going to love what we did with the place.
Yeah, this is super cute. So Danielle, what's the first thing you're looking at with a new space?
Kind of like we talked about before, Todd, right plant, right place. So the first thing you want to assess when you're looking at a room is the lighting. This room, for example, you have highlight kind of over there, and then as we're moving back here, the light gets less.
Is that a challenge then with two different shadings?
I actually think it's kind of an opportunity. You can have some lower light plants and highlight plants. They have different leaf types, and you can add a lot of different texture to your space.
Cool. What are some of the plants that we have here right now?
So this right here is a colocasia. This is a great, what I like to call, statement plant.
Sure, sure.
A statement plant is something large, something that is going to kind of replicate furniture in a design.
Kind of fill out the room a little bit, right?
Yep. Yeah, this one's great. It is like a little bit higher maintenance. So I would say not for beginners, but
May not be the first one.
Yeah.
But you have one that is a little easier to take care of, right?
Yeah, this one over here, another what I would constitute as a statement plant.
This is a bigger tree-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, this is octopus tree.
Octopus tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 8 leaves.
Yep.
Hence the name.
This one's great. It's a low light, lower maintenance option for beginners, and again, it's going to make a large impact in your space.
Certainly does, yeah.
Yeah, another great way to make a large impact in your space is with groupings, which we have right over here.
Nice.
This is kind of the more high light area of our design, which is really great because most plants love light.
That's true.
We have these really amazing ferns here. These are really great to add texture. They also have this kind of drooping habit, which is really luxurious. It also can kind of help hide some elements of your life that you may want to tuck away.
There's some toys in there and some arts and crafts for the kids, right?
Yeah, which is fine. Everybody has it, and plants can help kind of pretty that up for you.
Sure.
Another thing that is really important about groupings is having things at different levels. So whether that be with plant stands, furniture that you already have, or just putting something on the floor and then having something above it, it really helps to kind of create a nice dynamic flow and helps it not look too cluttered.
Yeah, exactly. This one here you said is kind of tough to kill.
Yeah.
Beginner plant?
Totally.
What's the name of this one?
That's pothos, one of my favorites. Really great, super easy to take care of.
Okay.
Loves light, and
I'm gonna write that one down for myself.
Yeah. Well, if you love that, you'll love what we have upstairs. Something I think a lot of people don't know about plants, Todd, is they filter the air and they're really good for your mental health.
Giving off great vibes all around.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember these guys from the plant warehouse.
Yeah, we got snake plant and ZZ plant.
I like those.
Something I really love about this space in particular, it has all the elements that we talked about downstairs.
Yeah.
It has texture, it has groupings, and statement plants.
Love that, love that.
And plants aren't only for living spaces. Don't forget about your bedroom.
Ah, okay. Oh, hi, Mr. Statement Fig Plant.
Another element of design we haven't talked about yet is symmetry, and this is a perfect example with these two snake plants. You can see how they really add a perfect balance on these two windowsills.
Definitely.
And Todd, I gotta mention again, plants are great air filters for the home. They're gonna add a lot of quality oxygen, and they're gonna pull a lot of toxins from the space, which is great for a night's sleep.
Need the good night's sleep for sure. Danielle, thanks for the tips. You now have all the tools for indoor plants. Keep your indoor growing going on Gardening with Gutner. When we talked with Melissa Madigan at Skilling's Greenhouses, we were shocked to learn how expensive some houseplants can be. She showed us some of the more expensive ones and explained why they're so pricey. This week on Gardening with Gutner, we came back to Skilling's because we had to. Last time we were here, we were talking houseplants with Melissa, and she talked a little bit about these rare and unusual ones, and it blew my mind how expensive some of these houseplants are. $200, $300, and this guy's $500? How? Why, Melissa?
Because they are so very rare. They're found in rainforests, in the deep forests of Colombia, Southeast Asia, different places in South America. So you have to go and get them because they are rooting, climbing up trees, so you have to get them. And
wow. It's tough to actually get to their location.
Yeah, that, and then to propagate them, you have to wait for them to come up with root nubs and things like that, which you don't see any of those on here. But if the plant gets bigger, like the pink princess here, you'll see little root nubs, which is what they use to climb the trees.
Okay.
But that's also how you would propagate them and get roots.
Can this be replicated in a lab?
No, absolutely not. It's their genetics, their DNA that causes all these different colorations in them, which means no two are alike. Just like us, no two are alike.
Okay. This is a beautiful one here.
Yeah,
What's
this is Florida Ghost.
Oh, boy.
And it is also a philodendron, but it has different, like its stems are pink and bumpy, has these pure
albino leaves.
Albino leaves.
Incredible.
Yeah, this is really cool.
How much is this one?
That guy is only $200.
Only $200, folks, for this little guy. Okay.
But he'll get big.
Oh, he'll get big. Oh, isn't that reassuring? So these are some rare ones.
Yep.
This one's expensive because of supply and demand.
Yes, because the pink princess got very, very popular a number of years ago, and everybody was buying it. Again, rainforests and all that, but because it was so popular, they just couldn't propagate them fast enough.
They ran out of them.
Yeah, they did. And so that's why they got to be so expensive and so popular.
Now, I mean, if you're going to drop hundreds of dollars on a houseplant, you've got one chance, basically. You better not kill it.
No,
right?
You really don't want to do that. So you need to know how to take care of them, because the majority of them are philodendrons. There are 400 to 500 species of philodendrons.
Okay.
These are the rare ones. But just think philodendron. Philodendrons prefer to be a little bit on the dry side.
Yep.
They prefer lower to medium light, even with their variegation, lower to medium light. So just keep those things in mind when you're going to put it in your house, what you're going to do with it, and care for it, and don't drown it. It will not be happy.
Don't drown your $500 plant. That is good advice. All right, so you can go for your significant other.
Yeah.
You're looking for the perfect gift. Diamond, gold, platinum.
Better.
You're kind of a platinum fan, huh? But you're really a fan of these guys.
Yes, I am.
$500 houseplant. Melissa, thanks for that little education. I had no idea that houseplants could be that expensive. Come see Melissa. She'll sell you one of these. It's at Skilling's in Falmouth. All right, we'll see you next time on Gardening with Gutner. When you think expensive, orchids may come to mind. They're definitely one of the more exotic houseplants you can own. We talked with Dave Sparks of the Maine Orchid Society to take away some of the mystery surrounding the orchid. You've got Gorham over there, you've got Westbrook over there, and on this side of the Presumpscot River, Windham, and where they all meet, some consider the orchid capital of Maine. Let's go meet David Sparks. So David, you've been here for 40 years?
50 years.
50
years, yeah. Welcome to the river.
Well, thank you very much. That's one heck of a view.
We love it. We love it.
Well, we're here for orchids, but before we get to orchids, you represent a lot more than that. A lover of the natural world, really,
well,
right?
People probably know me from Sparks Ark. I started that back probably in 1980s, and I used to relocate nuisance wildlife and run a wildlife rehabilitation center.
So this is your plant sanctuary room?
It is. This is where I kind of keep my special plants. I used to have them all out here, but now I have some in the greenhouse and I keep special ones in.
This one is special.
Yep, this one is in peak bloom right now. It's from Australia. The white color sometimes will tell you that it's pollinated by moths sometimes, so it'll be more fragrant in the evening time. Another one of my favorite orchids is this one right here. This is from the Philippines.
Philippines?
It's called Dendrochilum wenzellii. Each one of these has individual little flowers on them. So one little thing here probably has 20 or 30 flowers.
So
and
unique.
it's blooming all over.
Beautiful.
In the wild of the Philippines, these wouldn't grow in a pot, of course. They grow on
Yeah.
a tree branch in the crook of a tree.
Now that's a lot of blossoms. This is a singular blossom
It is.
here, but gorgeous.
This
Huge
is one of
too.
the slipper orchids. It's called Paphiopedilum, which is the genus name, but it's a combination of species. And this one has a clonal name of Winston Churchill. So
Do they all have interesting names like
if
that?
you get one awarded through the American Orchid Society, you can name it whatever you want. Like if I took this and it didn't have an award to it, and I took it down and had it judged, I could name it Paphiopedilum Todd Gutner if I wanted to.
Paphiopedilum Todd Gutner, huh? That'd be interesting.
So this is a Phalaenopsis orchid. This would be one that you would find in your grocery stores and your big box stores. It looks really nice and it's really healthy at the moment, but if you leave it like this and try to take care of it, it's gonna die.
It's in trouble then.
It is. This pot has no drainage in the bottom of it,
Oh.
and it's in this little tiny constricted pot in here. First of all, it needs to come out of this.
Okay.
That's a no-no.
Okay.
And you could keep it in this until it's done blooming.
Yeah.
And then you could repot it. And you put it in a pot with styrofoam peanuts on the bottom for drainage, and then you use a little orchiata or pine bark mix
Yeah? How come?
with some volcanic rock for drainage. It lets the air get to the roots.
Okay, and that's
These
really
orchids
important.
need to breathe. Also, you don't want to put it in bright sun. You'll burn the leaves.
Okay.
And a good test is to take and hold your hand over it, and if the shadow is just kind of a soft shadow, that's the kind of light you want.
That's what you want.
But if you see a real dark, defined shadow, then it's too bright a light.
Direct
You're gonna burn
light,
the leaves.
probably too much.
Yeah.
I mean, they're temperamental like most plants, right?
They can be.
Watering, fertilizer,
They can
light,
be.
those kind of issues.
The other thing you can do is you could take and mount it and put it on a piece of bark like this. And when I do that, I use monofilament line.
Oh, yeah.
And I wrap it around. You can see the line right here. And eventually the roots will grow right into on the surface of the bark to be watered.
Okay.
And that's a good way of doing it.
Other issues you might run into, if there's too much water.
Well, the other thing is if you get too much water, like say this one right here, it has some dead roots on it and they should be trimmed. But if you trim them with scissors, sometimes orchids can get viruses. There's a multitude of viruses, and if you use scissors and don't sterilize them well, you're going to transfer a virus from one orchid to another. So I use single-edge razor blades, and they're real easy and real inexpensive, and I can take and cut the roots or cut a bad part of the leaf with a blade and just throw it away.
Just slice it right
And then
off.
I don't have to worry about it. And any orchid that I get, even though it probably doesn't have a virus, I treat it like it has a virus.
Okay.
So you don't transmit that.
Love it. Before we go, I've got to point this one out here. This thing is amazing. What is this orchid?
This is a dendrobium orchid. It grows on Lombok Island in the Philippines.
Wow.
It's the only place in the world it grows.
And you have one.
I do. And it's actually growing on a piece of cedar shingle, and you can see all the roots hanging there. And actually, if you look at the tips, you can see the tips are a little bit green.
Yeah.
And that shows you that they're alive and well, and that
Good.
gets watered or misted every single day.
And you do that.
I do that every day.
Just spritz it every day.
I do.
David, orchids, truly fascinating. Thanks so much for taking on this orchid journey. If you want to learn more, it's the Maine Orchid Society. You've got a website, lots of info there. And we'll see you next time on Gardening with Gutner. Those orchids were even more beautiful in person. Dave is definitely the king of orchids. Well, there you have it. Everything you wanted to know about houseplants and even some orchids too. Keep an eye out for more Gardening with Gutner segments on News Center Maine Plus, and don't forget, get your growing going with Gardening with Gutner.